And joining me now to talk about how it could all play out is Vince Coglianese, editorial director at the Daily Caller and co-host of Mornings on the Mall on WMAL Radio. Vince, welcome back. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Well, Vince, last week Majority Leader Mitch McConnell announced that he has the 51 votes required to launch the trial based on the model of President Clinton's impeachment trial in 1999. So what does that look like?
Yeah, that's really important. I mean, Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House, was holding on to the articles of impeachment for an entire month. And she did that because she wanted the leverage to basically say, do this trial the way I want you to do it. And Senator McConnell came along and said, no, I don't even want the articles, but if you're going to send them, we'll do them the way it was done in 1999, which means they'll vote on the procedures first, and then witnesses, that'll be handled later. And they'll take that on a case-by-case basis, whether or not they'll call any witnesses.
Yeah, Vince, what does that indicate for witness testimony?
Well, we'll see whether or not there even is any witness testimony. One of the interesting things that did happen in the interim period after Nancy Pelosi held the articles of impeachment is then John Bolton, the former national security advisor, indicated, yeah, hey, I'd be willing to testify in the Senate. The effect of that, though, is not going to be much because the president's already said in an interview last week that he would say, invoke executive privilege and make it so John Bolton's testimony would be rendered pointless. He wouldn't be able to say anything before in a Senate trial. And at this point, it doesn't look like we should expect any dramatic witness testimony.
Chief Justice John Roberts is expecting to fill the role of the presiding officer. How significant is that he's directing these proceedings?
Well, it's constitutionally prescribed. He's got to do this. He's going to run the proceedings in the Senate. But remember, ultimately, it really does fall to whoever controls the votes in the Senate. And in this case, unless a couple of Republicans break off, it's Mitch McConnell who's really running the show over there.
All right. And senators will take an oath by which they affirm to, quote, do impartial justice according to the Constitution and laws. So help me God. And so much as political conversation around impeachment on both sides of the aisle has really been partisan.
Yes.
You know, and we're looking to hear when the trial begins. Do you think we're going to see a shift?
No. It's going to be partisan. That's the whole point of this. And in fact, I think Republicans, as you played in the sound a few minutes ago, are rightly pointing out, like, look, the Democrats who are dissatisfied with what they gathered in the House, if your kid went up to the teacher and turned in a half-complete assignment, you don't tell the teacher, finish it for me. So I think Republicans are going to have a nice opportunity here to say, anything that you didn't include from the House, sorry, that's your failure.
Yeah. Vince, any final thoughts?
Just that this is a big moment in American history, yes, given that there is an impeachment before us. But the other side of this is I think a lot of Americans look at this and say, okay, over what? And it seems like it's politics because we went from a hysterical moment to hysterical moment to hysterical moment that this one doesn't even feel unique in the entire time of the Trump presidency.
Yeah, Vince, thanks so much for joining us. We
very
really
much.
appreciate it. Vince Coglianese, editorial director at the Daily Caller. Thanks again.
Sure.